Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Here.
Kevin Zorda. Here. Virginia Higley here. Robert Chagnon. Jane Smith. Carrie Ann Howe.
Here.
Marie Pisner.
Here.
Kelly Hemler.
Here.
And Marcy Felicio.
Here.
I'd like to see the alternates, Marie and Marcy. Fire evacuation procedures. In the event of emergency, you could leave the door to my left and go down the stairs and away from the building, or a quicker route might be through the back door there and out the door, down the stairs and away from the building. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is public participation. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak regarding items not on the agenda? Is there anybody who want to speak regarding items not on the agenda? And again, one last time, anybody want to speak regarding items not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Correspondence. Don't think we really had any. Oh, it's under here. No, we just did. we did get a note from the town attorney regarding a case that's going before the courts for us. Just a little update on that. It's not really related to this meeting in particular, but we also did get a press release regarding the announcement of Lauren Witten. Yeah.
Yes.
She's appointed new director for development services for the town of Enfield. So I just wanted to recognize that and say welcome to the town, and hopefully you will get to meet her one day at the meetings. Other than that, that's it for correspondence. Commissioners, correspondence, site visits, anything?
None for me.
No. Okay. Approval of minutes for June 19th, 2018.
I move to approve the minutes of June 19th.
I second.
Roll call?
Donna?
Yes.
Kevin?
I'm going to abstain.
Virginia, yes. Robert, absent. Jane Smith, absent. Carrie Ann?
Yes.
Marie?
Yes.
And Kelly?
Yes.
And Marcy.
Abstain.
Oh, you weren't here.
That's right. 5 in favor, 2 abstain, motion passes. We have no bond releases. Next on the agenda is old business, IW 589, 57 Kimberly Drive, application for escarpment erosion control. Tracy Clark, owner applicant, map 70, lot 0011, residential 88 zone. Unfortunately, we have to vote on this today. So I need a motion removed from the table from last week.
I make a motion that we remove it from the table and vote on that.
Second.
today.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. So I need a vote for IW 589, 57 Kimberly Drive. Anyone like to make a motion?
We're going to make it in the positive and then vote.
No, just yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
always.
I move that we accept the
We're gonna do
application.
without prejudice. Do without prejudice?
No, she's going to sue the town.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Wait a minute. Okay, I move we approve IW 589 57 Kimberly Drive, which is an application for escarpment erosion control. Tracy Clark, owner applicant, map 70, lot 11, residential 88, zone, oh, R88 zone, sorry, that's it.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, any discussion?
I don't feel that, well, I won't be able to vote for it because she didn't have the necessary credentialed officials look at the property. And I feel that we have to really guard our escarpments and our wetlands because once it fails, it never works again and it impacts everything else lower down.
Kevin?
I thought we had talked about doing it without prejudice so that she could reapply.
You weren't here.
Right, last meeting? Okay. All right.
I have to agree with Jenny. I mean, certain things were asked of her to provide to us, and they were not provided. And I can't go in favor.
Any more discussion? No, I also think they did bury some of the
Yeah, there's
retaining walls and that, which I have a little concern about with that as well, eventually eroding and
railroad ties.
decaying,
yeah.
and, yeah, so it's another concern, but are we ready for a vote?
I think so.
Okay.
Donna?
No.
Kevin?
No.
Virginia, no. Carrie Ann?
No.
Marie?
No.
Kelly?
No.
And Marcy?
No.
Okay. 7 against, motion fails, denied. Is that right? Okay. New business.
So what's the next step? Because they've already done this project.
Oh, they started it, yeah.
Did you watch?
I didn't watch
Oh.
the whole thing.
Okay, she has a cease and desist
Yeah.
against her. It just will become
Right.
active again, correct?
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Next on the agenda is new business. IW 592, 143, 145, 147, 149, 153 Elm Street, and map 57, lot 72, Carroll Street. Application for the construction of 8 new buildings comprising of 65,227 square feet of development with associated parking of 333 spaces. Henry R. Bisonette, owner, Enfield Properties LLC applicant, map 57, lots 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 72, business, local, and residential 33 zones. Hi, gentlemen, could you state your name and address for the
Good evening.
records?
Frank Troiano, principal for Enfield Properties. With me here is David Ziax from Hasketh & Associates, our civil engineer on the project as well. I'm just going to let him set up the easel so he has the displays for today before we begin.
Good evening. My name is Dave Ziax. I'm a professional engineer with F.A. Hesketh & Associates. We're located down in East Granby, and we're happy to be here tonight. It's kind of a, I was just talking to Dana. It was a little strange July 3rd, but I can't think of any reason why it's that strange, because the holiday's kind of strange in the middle of the week. So, but anyhow, the application before you is located on the north side of Elm Street, almost directly across from Palumbo Drive. And there's a Town Fair Tire, I guess, and the Volkswagen dealer directly across the street. It's a 15.10 acre site. It's got a split zone. The bottom 9.93 acres was recently zoned BL, and the upper 5.17 acres was left as R33. So you can see on my Google aerial that I've brought along with me tonight, I superimposed the actual site plan in the green color on the Google aerial, and then the 5.17 acres is the open area to the north there, as you can see on that aerial. The proposal is to develop the 9.93 acre business local section that would include 65,227 square feet of mixed-use retail, personal services type of uses on the property. Be 8 buildings that range in size from like 1,500 square feet to up to 20,000 square feet. And these are areas that basically are reserved for future buildings as tenants become identified and will be added to the site plan. There'd be 333 parking spaces. The 5.17 acre area to the north would be set aside for permanent open space or conservation easement to be determined by the Planning and Zoning Commission as to how they want to go with that, either make it public open space or make it a permanent conservation area, but we're open to either way. That would be combined. There's an open space area to the north of this site, just off to the left of our aerial, It's next to the Montclair Drive neighborhood, goes down to St. James Street. That area was set aside as public open space years ago when they subdivided that, and the intermittent water course that we drain to goes through that open space. So this 5.17 acres of land would be, attached to that land and create quite a nice open space area along that entire water course. The site would be serviced by public water and sewer. We've been in contact with both the Connecticut Water Company and the WPCA here in town, and there are no capacity issues with that. As far as the general layout goes, there'll be basically a main entrance right across Palumba Drive. We'll reconstruct that traffic light and do some traffic improvements to the lanes out there to actually allow a left turn lane for the first time. If you're heading westbound on Elm Street, there'll be a new left turn that will allow you to turn onto Palumba. And then opposite that, there'll be a left turn installed to allow you to turn into our site if you're heading east on Elm Street. And that light will need some revisions to do that, but that will be included in the project. Under the BL zone, you're allowed to have up to 66% impervious coverage. Our calculations show that we would be at 54.3, so we'd be considerably below that. They allow 35% building coverage. Our buildings will cover 14.4% of the site, so we're considerably below that. I'm just going to change the plan.
Actually, one quick question.
Yes.
In your percentages of coverage, are you including the open space
No.
area or not?
No, all of the numbers I'm giving you are only related to the BL portion.
Okay, thank you.
So with regards to wetlands on the site, we have, hopefully my little pointer will work here tonight. Again, this is the conservation area or open space area is bounded by the orange. It's 5.17, and then the proposed developments down here on the 9.93 acres. We have an unnamed intermittent water course that runs along the westerly side of the boundary, and that continues into that open space area that I was talking about, heading to the north, and then eventually turns and heads to the west. We have a farm pond located right here that was constructed by the Bissonnettes many years ago, and a little piece of water course. It's basically a swale, a man-made dug swale in this area right here that feeds into the farm pond. Those were identified by our professional soil scientists and located in the field by our land surveyors. That is very consistent with the official town map published for the property and showing that wetland corridor. It does show the intermittent water course as a blue line in the farm pond. There is over here on the east side, would be over in this area here on this map, remnants of a little blob of wetlands that was primarily over in the residential subdivision on St. Thomas that came over onto the property. But again, none of that was identified in this area. There used to be a barn structure in this area and open stable area there, and that little fragment of wetlands was long ago removed from the property. And further to the east, there's houses and driveways built on those lots. So that little remnant of wetlands is like many scattered throughout the town on your map. The drainage, the site drains from Elm Street to the north, and for the most part gets into that farm pond, which then takes it off site. There's a little bit of drainage that comes in from the backyards of the neighboring properties, but not very much. Now that unnamed tributary that flows to the north, that's all part of the Great Brook watershed. And Great Brook's about a little over 1.5 square mile of watershed. And eventually Great Brook continues and travels to the west and teams up with Waterworks Brook, which is really the channel that goes out to the Connecticut River further to the west. But it goes under Route 5 and Interstate 91 and continues on. That's about a 1.5 square watershed as part of Great Brook. And I took a look at your comprehensive drainage study that was prepared for the town. And, you know, it lists the different types of goals for the various watersheds and brooks. And we think we've done a good job in meeting the goals that are identified in that study. But the goals for here were to reduce the peak flow below the existing flow coming off basically the old farm, heading to the north, and provide both the water quality volume and recharge volume that are included in the current DEP regulations for this type of development. In order to accomplish all those goals, what we are proposing is to build one large water quality basin right along the northerly boundary of our commercial development, BL development. It'd be a wet bottom basin, heavily planted, with the intent of both providing peak flow attenuation and then the water quality volume and the recharge volume that are required. And it also sets up a nice barrier between I think, between the BL zone and the open space to the north, a permanent barrier. It will prevent any type of roadway crossings or anything like that being attempted in the future. So we're sort of creating a man-made wetland barrier right across that entire northerly boundary. I think it'll be very effective. And if you had a chance to look at our landscaping plans and design plans, you'll see that we're proposing quite an extensive vegetative barrier across that area. So I think it'll be very effective. We did look at that downstream, which is sort of upstream here, but downstream into the Great Brook watershed. What happens is, again, this tributary along the west side here drains off our property, continues through the open space, and eventually makes its way over to a large culvert that goes under St. James Avenue, which is just to the west of here. And then again, it continues on eventually over to the Connecticut River. I looked at the engineering reports, discussed it with them. There are no major issues within that water course. They do recommend the employment of the BMPs, best management practices, that we were talking about in our report. That I included a site engineering report. If you had a chance to look at it on page 3, I listed all the various best management practices that we were incorporating into our storm drainage design. And that was to implement a routine site cleaning and maintenance program, which is outlined on the plans. Basically, the annual and semi-annual cleaning of all the catch basins, proper sweeping of the parking lots, things of that nature. Incorporation of substantial landscape areas throughout the site, and mainly in the water quality basin area. Use of catch basins with sumps, larger sumps, and trapped hoods at the 2 outlets that lead to the water quality basin. And then sizing the basin properly to accomplish water quality volume and groundwater recharge. And all those calculations were completed and included in our report. I can report to you that everything is quite conservative. The peak flows of existing versus proposed. The proposed is considerably below the existing flow off the site for all storms through 2 through the 100-year storms. So that works out very nicely. And we easily accomplish the water quality volume and groundwater recharge volume in that large basin. There is no direct disturbance to the wetland features on the site. Most of the disturbance that's within the 100-foot upland review area, which is this red dashed line right here, most of that disturbance is the construction of the water quality basin. And just the very little back tip of that building will be in that area. But the parking areas and everything are outside that area. I did get a chance to review the town engineer's comments. He had a few technical comments that we can easily accomplish or address rather, when we file the final plans. They were what I call kind of super technical engineering kind of things. Nothing that will affect the plans very much, and can easily be addressed. And then town staff just handed me the overall staff report, and I was just kind of like thumbing through that a little bit. I don't think there's anything in addition from staff that, yeah, obviously we have all of your standard conditions and things that we're very accustomed with to deal with, but I don't think there's anything of any real consequence for us to consider as far as making changes to the plans. So at this point, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Excuse me. Anybody have any questions or concerns or? Yeah, that's pretty good. This way? Question?
I'm not sure if I should be asking it, but it's on here, so I'll ask it. Where they had the department comments, it was at my desk, so I apologize ahead of time. Seems engineering had a bit of a concern with the depth of the pipes that you were using.
Yeah, John Cabibo has made that comment on my plans for 25 years or something
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
okay, that's fine.
And I always give him the pipe that he likes. So
Okay, well.
I disagree with him on that matter, but
Thank you.
I let him make the comment and then I address the comment. It gets me off the hook with my clients, so you know.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
because
no, it's yeah. You'll see that on every set of plans that we do. John Cabibo will report that to this commission.
I will look next time.
And make sure he follows up. Yeah.
I have one question. The temporary snow stockpile area up in the northeasterly corner near
Yeah.
the water quality basin,
Yes.
kind of not liking that being that close to your proposed wetlands area to be created.
Yeah. Can I get my plans just for a second so I can take a look at it?
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Too bad.
I mean, obviously, my concern is, you know, there's going to be
Yeah.
debris and
Yeah,
such that can potentially go into it.
there's one in the northeast and there's one in the southwest that are basically taking up all the parking spaces in those areas, which practically, once you have tenants in here, I'm thinking they're not going to like that.
Well, we find that, you know, this is pretty comfortably parked, so I'm not too overly concerned about that.
Quite a few spaces.
But I understand all the comments. We do have to find, I think realistically, we have to find an area up in that corner because the snow's going to be up in that area. So the question is,
Yeah, you got a lot of area here to plow and you got those two areas.
yeah, you know, I hate to say, okay, I'll just take it off and then we'll haul it someplace else because
Yeah.
my mother always taught me not to lie to anybody, you know, type of thing, or stretch the truth too much. I mean, there's a practicality to the situation of,
Understood.
Yeah.
But you do understand where
Yeah,
I'm coming from, my concern.
I mean, if one of the concerns is trash, say, in that area, because I don't think I'm concerned about the pollutants necessarily, because everything's going through the water quality basin regardless of where it's on the site, so it's all going to get there. I suppose one of the issues where we in that area along the immediate area along the basin, we could install some like 4-foot-high chain link fence. That's always effective, and any trash that would, you know, be in a pile that would blow off into that area, and maybe just general trash, you know, we could certainly add some fencing along that area.
That
We're
would
trying
give
not to
me a-
fence in the whole thing because,
Yeah.
you know, it looks ugly and kids jump over. If you're trying to block kids from jumping over fences, I gave up on that a long time
Jungle
ago.
gym,
Yeah, you want to guarantee they're going to jump over it, put it up.
Right, but
no,
but for the purposes of blocking any kind of, you know,
Debris, and that would
styrofoam
that would
cups or
absolutely
whatever they're around, you know, yes. How
give me
about that?
a nice comfort level.
Okay.
Thank you.
And this isn't necessarily in our purview, but it seems to me that in that southeast corner, that 35-foot buffer is kind of narrow. And looking at your planting plan, I'm not sure who the neighbors are there, but
Southeast corner?
yeah, there's one spot that looks like you have a planting plan, kind of some evergreens right in the middle. I can't open it up all the way, but kind of a very,
Yeah, that's that's the buffer that is required by the zone. And one thing you're not looking at is because there's there's some berming indicated in that area as well.
Okay.
So, for instance, just since you raised the question, that house over there is at about elevation 135 or so, 136, and the parking area in there has been pressed down to about 132 or so. So the parking spaces are down about 4 feet, and there's a little bit of a mound between them, and then the planted buffer. So.
berm.
But,
All right, that'll help. That'll
I'm sure if your planning and zoning commission's not satisfied, they'll let us know as
Yeah.
well, so.
Any other questions?
I have no other
Sarah?
questions. Yeah. I like it. Great use for this spot. All right. So I will make a motion.
Actually, I had
Oh, one more
one
question.
more quick little thing, and I know it really isn't our area. I did note in the memo from staff that you guys are going to need to talk to DOT about getting approval for the traffic light. Could that potentially change your driveways and your layouts?
Well, we feel pretty comfortable about that because we have been talking a lot with them. But until I have their permit in my hands, I'll answer yes, it could potentially, and if it does, we'll have to come back if it affects
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, this is a done deal. We got ways to go.
Because then they're going to change it.
Yeah.
All right. So I will make a motion that whereas the Enfield Inland Wetland and Watercourse Agency has received an application for a development including 8 commercial buildings with associated parking lots and stormwater management system located within 100 feet of wetlands, and whereas the agency has determined that there will be no adverse impact on nearby wetlands, now there be it resolved. The Enfield Wetlands and Watercourse Agency hereby approves IW number 592 for the development of, and this needs to be edited, it says if,
Yeah. We want to add
of, 8 commercial buildings with associated parking lots, stormwater management systems located within 100 feet of wetlands at 143, 147, 149, 153 Elm Street, Lot 72 Carroll Street, map 57, appropriate lots. Also adding with our standard conditions and the additional condition of adding the fence along the snow pile, designated snow pile areas alone.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Donna,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Virginia, yes. Carrie Ann,
Yes.
Marie,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Marcy.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice 4th.
Yes, you too.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Yeah, if you want to get both of them.
Next on the agenda, since I think they're ready. Applications to be received. IW 593, 80 Shaker Road. Application for the construction of a building, addition, driveways, parking, drainage, and minor grading. 80 Shaker Road, LLC owner, Camerata Truck Parts, applicant map 76, lot 185, I-1 zone. Is anybody here? No.
Nope. This is just to be received. So
Yeah, just to be received.
That's fine.
That's fine.
New business next time.
Okay, and thank you for getting the previous conditions in that for us.
That's helpful.
Yeah, so we'll be receiving this and discussing it at our next meeting on July 17th. Next one to be, applications to be received is IW 594, 65 Hazard Avenue. Application for the expansion of the showroom and the service building, the expansion of the pavement, and the installation of a stormwater basin. JCS Real Estate owner applicant, map 56, lot 27. So I know Dana's here.
So we gave you a staff report, I guess, as to why it was on as applications to be received, even though there was kind of a request for a determination, so.
Let's actually determine if we need to have them come before us and that. Because there is some wetlands that Dana will explain, but it's kind of under a parking lot, so.
The only other
already been
previous
this-
approval on that property that I could find was an agent approval for, that I left on your desk.
Yeah,
So it wasn't for the whole facility.
Approval.
yeah,
Yeah. Full application.
yeah. Yeah, make sure.
Will
your
you
things
be
are-
looking, you can't look at the aquifer though, can you? Is that something that has to go before planning and
Planning and
zoning?
Planning- Yeah, they have to go for
Okay,
aquifer
okay, then
next.
I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, my thought is that we do a full application because there is wetlands, and so we don't set a precedence, but let it be an agent approval.
yeah, the wetlands are under a parking lot, so,
I agree with Kevin.
yeah, yeah, so.
You can certainly vote that way. I don't know if you want to hear the presentation first.
Did you want to add anything?
Well, when you say that there are wetlands, you mean there's, as I think I heard you say, there's wetlands under the pavement? Is
Well,
that?
it was previous before you built, yeah, so it's still.
The
lying.
back parcel also has wetlands on it,
Yeah.
isn't it?
The parcel to the.
Where you were parking your vehicles way in the back by Cranbrook Boulevard.
No, there's no
doesn't?
wetlands there.
Okay, that's the one that has
There's,
aquifer though.
there's no wetlands on the property.
Yeah, it's.
The only wetlands have been disturbed, so they've been removed.
Right.
See, when you fill a wetland, it doesn't continue to exist. It ceases to exist. So I don't agree. But so certain whatever you're comfortable with is we want to do. But it would help our timing if you would make a determination that a permit is not needed. So that we can proceed with our other applications. I mentioned to Jen another possibility. If you're not comfortable with that, and you want us to come back to your next meeting, we could do that. Maybe we could start the other application processes. But I guess that's something we'll have to work out with Jen.
We're proposing an agent approval, so you wouldn't have to come back to us. It would just be Jen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
so Jen would.
I'm sorry, I
Jen-
misunderstood.
No, that's okay. She would handle.
So you wouldn't have to come back.
So there would still
to
be an
us.
approval, conditions of approval would be attached to it, that kind of thing.
Otherwise, I think, at least in my mind, you would have to submit an application to change the town map.
Right, I know.
Which I don't want you to have to go through all that for this.
Yeah, we
Where-
appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that accommodation. So we do recognize that.
Yeah. Okay, so do I have any motions?
All right, I will move that we, this is for IW number 594, 65 Hazard Avenue, that we determine that a full permit is necessary, but with agent approval.
I'll second.
Can I have roll call, please?
Donna?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Virginia, yes. Carrie Ann?
Yes.
Marie?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Marcy?
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes, so it's agent approval.
Thank you. I forgot to mention, we are required when we submit an application in an aquifer to submit notice to the state health department as well as the local water company. So I have a copy of that. I'll submit for the record.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you very much. Okay, so that's that one. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Yes, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Next on the agenda is determination of permit need. You don't have any reports from officers and committees? Anybody have anything?
I have nothing.
No. I did attend a storm management meeting back about a month or so ago, which was pretty interesting. They're going to be coming out with some proposals for the town to follow for storm management. I'll have to go to the town council and planning and zoning for approval and all that type of stuff. So it was interesting. When I get some more information on it, I'll share it with everybody.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah. Report of our planning office?
What was that?
Simon Road, the farmer, have we heard anything from him?
Oh, no, he came in after the last time he was here, and I helped him with how he should fill out the application and what he should bring back, but we haven't heard anything back from him. We can certainly reach out again, though.
I think we should.
Get him back
Yeah.
in there. Other than that, Martin Brower already submitted final plans, so that's going to be
that
moving
was
along
good.
to planning and zoning fairly quickly. And I believe everything we have in the office for wetlands is on your agenda tonight. So those are all the current pending applications. The only other thing is, I don't know if you noticed, Costco has been doing work around there. We told them that, well, they came in and asked if they wanted to maintain their little detention basin, if they would be allowed to just perform regular maintenance on that and get rid of invasive plants and stuff. And we told them that that would be okay. And we've got some question in the office, so I figured I would report it out to you guys that
Makes sense.
that is
They
what we
do
told
a
them
nice
they can
job
do.
with their property, so I don't think that'll be a problem. And I think they will ask if they're in doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did ask. They brought
did
in
ask.
plans and they
Yeah.
showed it to us, and we said, yeah, you can perform your maintenance. They said it was all within the fence around their catch basin. So,
And somebody will check it when it's all done, right?
yeah, Rick will probably go out there.
Okay.
That's good.
Moody Road, that intersection right
Oh, by Alman Moody. Remember with had to remove all the stuff off the property and cars?
The junkyard.
Oh, the junkyard. We can check in on that. They were supposed to be, I believe they were supposed to remove a certain number of cars within.
60 days, and
I
that
thought it was
was
60,
not our
yeah.
last meeting, but the one before. So he's still got like another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, we had the torrential downpours, and, you know, we
Yeah.
swam to the meetings. So it should be, like, within the next 2 weeks, he should have everything cleared out of there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
better get a
we-
report.
And
Yeah, it
okay,
should
so I'll
be
pass
checked
that
on.
along to Rick to go
Yeah.
check on that and give you a report. I know you guys are probably missing him.
Yeah.
recently.
we haven't seen him. Yeah.
So, other than that, that's all I can think of, unless you guys have anything for me.
And everybody knows, you're telling everybody that comes in that we don't meet in August, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure you need a break too.
Yes.
Yeah, well, yep.
So I guess seeing that, our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, July 17th. Meeting to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Meeting's adjourned.
See you at the 4th of